Well, hello, Operation Sports. Editor Chris Sanner here. I am here to talk with a good friend of ours, Fraser Gilbert, from across the pond. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Beautiful spring weather, and because it's spring, we're going to be talking MLB The Show 17. Fraser has been writing a series of articles on OS this year, basically being a noob is the best way to put it to several of them.
The best way.
Yeah, it's definitely the best way to several of the big sports games in our genre. Fraser, of course, being from across the pond, doesn't have as much exposure to things like the NBA and Major League Baseball, especially baseball, I would imagine. Am I right about that?
You are.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're going to really just dive in. We're going to talk to him about what it's like to be like someone who's not as familiar with the game and who has just started playing it. And also, I guess this is what we call the reverse FIFA effect, how most Americans feel when they first fire up FIFA or PES. That's what you feel like when you're playing the show. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's interesting to see what people say when they play FIFA or PES for the first time, so I'm hoping it's interesting the other way around.
Cool. Well, first things first, let's talk about this. What is your first impressions as you play the show?
My first impressions are it's as good as I'd hoped it would be, as its reputation suggests. I suppose the first thing that comes to mind when I play it for the first time is how accommodating it is for me as a new player. So it's from the minute we start, there's an intro video that completely confuses me. But as soon as we get past that point, it says, "Welcome to the show. Press X to discover and save gameplay options that work for you." And it gives you an option of hitting, base running, pitching, and throwing, with multiple different choices on how to get started from beginner to advanced, and then also chances to just try them out, see how they work. So while I started MLB The Show and thought, oh my god, how am I ever going to complete a game in this straight away? I feel completely overwhelmed. By the time I got to the main menu screen, I actually felt ready. It had already accustomed me to how the game works, and I was ready to go.
So when it comes to jumping into a game, what was that like? What was the first experience of seeing the baseball diamond and the game getting fired up and started? I mean, just walk us through that.
I mean, I'm not completely new to baseball, so I have played some baseball games in the past, notably I think High Heat Baseball was one, and EA have done a series in the past, so I'm not completely new. I know the very basics of baseball and how it works and how it works in video game form, but it's been a long time. Graphically, obviously, there's such a huge difference. It's quite incredible, even as someone who plays regularly with FIFA and NBA and NHL and games like that. I can tell there's so much authenticity behind it. It's from the stadiums to animations to commentary to overlays. I don't watch baseball, but I can tell it's there, and it just feels right. And even as someone who doesn't watch baseball, it feels right to get started, jump into the game, and get playing.
Well, when it comes to playing and, just working your way through a game, what's that experience like? Do you feel the game properly gets you figured out, or on strategy and stuff? Or are you just kind of feeling your way through and seeing what works and what doesn't?
Yes, I do think it does. And the only reason it does is because of dynamic difficulty. I found that by mistake, to be honest. I don't know of any other sports titles that use dynamic difficulty in the same way that the show does. But instantly I turned it on. It's there to help me in the early stages, with hitting home runs, with getting base hits, with pitching, with whatever I need. But then importantly, it never takes away the challenge when I start getting a little bit better at it. So even from the very, very start, I felt like I could handle it, even as someone who doesn't play baseball games very often at all. So dynamic difficulty is the answer for me. I don't know how long dynamic difficulty has been in the series, but it's so important to a new player like me. That and retro mode, which just helps me to get involved without having to worry about complex control schemes. So both of those two things make it so easy for someone like me coming in fresh.
What mode are you playing right now? Like, what's the thing that keeps drawing you in?
Road to the Show always keeps drawing me in. I thought it would. Again, it's actually a great way of learning how to play the positions. I don't really know anything about positions in baseball, but I'm learning. And it's just a really great mode for someone like me who doesn't have much time, constantly busy. So I can play games for a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, however long it is. I don't have to worry about a 162 game season. So that mode particularly, I have enjoyed Diamond Dynasty as well. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the online gameplay at the moment, but I do enjoy that there's a conquest mode that you can make as easy as you want it to be to a point, and I like the personalization of it all. So Diamond Dynasty, Road to the Show, franchise mode I haven't really gone into yet, and then I play a bit of retro mode now and again, particularly with friends who don't play baseball games either, and they're even more overwhelmed than I am because they don't even know the basic rules. So retro mode fills that void really well. It helps me to get them interested in the show if we're just playing a quick game.
Are there any, I guess with Road to the Show, first off, let us know what team you're playing for, but also is there a specific team that you're like drawn to in the show?
There is. Okay, the team I'm playing for is Kansas. I'm guessing it's the Kansas City Royals. You see, I don't even know their name. That's not very good.
You're correct.
There we go. That's all right then. So I don't know any of their players either yet. But no, I'm playing for Kansas. They have called me up to the main roster, so I must be doing something right. But yeah, that's who I'm playing for at the moment. In terms of a team I've been drawn to, I don't have an MLB team that I follow or anything like that. But I'm drawn to the San Francisco Giants, and that's only because of the existence of McCovey Cove and splash hits, and the little ticker on embedded into the stadium that shows when a splash hit gets notched up and then it goes up by 1. That's the only reason why. I don't know why, but yeah, the Giants are now my team, but I can only name you one player on their team, so that's not the best of starts.
Well, you know, again, most Americans can feel the same way. Like we feel the same way when we're dealing with FIFA, playing in the Premier League. You're like, I don't know. I know this one guy, but I don't know anybody else. But I really like this team.
What is a Bournemouth? What's a Stoke City? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. But I can vouch for San Francisco's ballpark. I got to visit it just a couple of weeks ago. And man, it is just gorgeous. So
it looks incredible. I want to take a kayak out there. That's got to be on my wish list.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an amazing adventure. It really would. So maybe we can both like meet up in San Francisco.
We'll do that an Operation Sports kayak trip. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it totally is related in some way to everything else we do. I don't know how.
Of course it is. Yeah, we'll say that.
So, just one final thought from you. Just in general, what do you think of the game? Like in a general overall sense, what do you think of MLB The Show 17?
I mean, already I'd put it among the top few sports games currently out there. I'm struggling to find too many negatives because a lot of the time when you find, I find that people who play sports games like FIFA who don't really have any interest in soccer will not be able to see some of the problems it has underneath, sort of in terms of positioning and things like that. They don't really get to grips with that. I'm the same with the show. I don't really know if it plays a realistic game of baseball down to a T. So from what I see and the way it plays out, I really, really enjoy it. I think the mechanics are great, the graphics are great, the modes are great. It's got to be up there in terms of the amount I want to play it and its addictiveness. So I mean, I can't complain. I can't pick out any real negatives. It's already one of my favorite titles. I've been hooked to it since I bought it a couple of weeks ago. So no regrets on my part.
Very good. And you know what? I think most OSers would agree, since it did win the Reader's Sports Game of the Year last year. So, I mean, they're doing something.
There you go.
They're definitely doing something right. Thanks again, Fraser, for hopping on and chatting for a few minutes. You can check out Fraser's piece on Operation Sports. where he's breaking all this down in written form. And, well, Fraser, we'll check in again with you in a few months and see how your show experience is going.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. We'll see you all next time.